Hello everyone, this is Martha. I have a client at 7 and it's very early and I thought I'll just make this video while I'm waiting. And I'm just waiting for maybe some people to drop in. I am in bamboo room again. This is the room that I always use to see clients. So this place has 5 counseling rooms and bamboo is my preferred counseling room. And I'll just show it to you. This is a bookshelf next to the door. And these are the counseling chairs. The wallpaper, bamboo. And yeah, the table I'm on. Yeah. So I wanted to make this video about people who do speak up and they end up hurting other people. I was at the cinema just now and so my office is at International Building, which is next to the Thai Embassy, and there's another building before it called Shaw Center. And Shaw Center on the top floor is the cinema. And I had this meeting in the morning and in Orchard. So instead of going home, I decided to hang around Orchard today and maybe stop at a cafe and do some journaling before my client at 7. And what ended up happening was I decided I have like 5 hours to spare, 6 hours, so why not go to the movies? And that's what I did. I went to the movies, and on the top floor of Lido, the cinema, you know, there's this long escalator. There are 2 long escalators that leads up to Lido, the cinema. And the one that was going upwards was not working. And those of you who have walked on long escalators, you may know that when you walk on the long escalator, because the steps are different heights, it's uncomfortable to walk on those steps. And also some people feel a bit dizzy, they have vertigo, and they may feel unstable. So I'm sharing with you a story of what happened to me today when I went to watch the movies at Lido. And what ended up happening was the escalator was not working, and so I had a choice. Do I still go watch the movie or do I give up? So I decided to walk up the escalator. What's the worst that can happen? Maybe I don't find a movie that I want to watch, and it's okay. The down riding escalator is working. So okay, I go up the escalator, and as I'm going up the escalator, I'm actually thinking, I wonder if the management knows that the up riding escalator is not working. What a pain it is for everybody who's trying to get up to the cinema. And I was queuing for my movie ticket, and it was a really long queue, maybe because everyone wants to watch Mission Impossible. I have no idea. It was really long, like 30 people in front of me. But I have hours, so I queued, and just as it was about to be my turn, maybe like 1 or 2 people in front of me, I saw this older man come up, and it's pretty obvious that he climbed the escalator, and that was not moving, the up-riding escalator that was not moving, and he was shouting at the ticketing people. So, you know, they must be in a fluster that there are 30 people waiting to buy their tickets and plenty more people behind me. And so the person that this older man went up to and started shouting at looks like he's the manager. He was standing, he was the only one standing, whereas the other people at the ticketing counter were sitting. So this older man went up to the counter and immediately said, "May I speak to the manager? Do you are aware that the escalator is not working? Did you ever check? Do you know that this escalator that's not working is very bad for older people trying to climb up here, and we have bad knees." So obviously obviously it's him. He has been inconvenienced, and he wonders whether the management knows that the escalator is not working. Same as me, except I didn't speak up. I just wondered, and it wasn't a big deal for me because you know, I'm younger, I don't have bad knees, and I have all day, 5 hours, 6 hours before my client. But this man, who he had a question, same question as me. He was angry, and because you know, he has bad knees. But he's saying we have bad knees, we old people, you know, old people have bad knees, and do you know that escalator is not working? Have you looked into it? Has anyone looked? You know, this self-righteousness that I think a lot of Singaporeans have, so I can say that because I'm Singaporean, have, which is everything that is not working, anything that is deficient needs to be looked into, and something along the lines of everything that is not good enough, kind of a thing. But the way he was doing it, he was shouting, and he said it one time, and because he was shouting, first the people at the counter, they were still serving their customer. They had customers in front of them, so he just went there, as with the manager, started going on his verbal rampage. And the staff there were just looking at him with no reaction because they were in shock. You know, you go up to someone and start shouting at them, of course they are in shock. It doesn't matter what you say, they are in shock because you're shouting at them. And maybe he felt that he wasn't heard, so he repeats the same thing again and again. He says this at least 3 times, and I think they gave some kind of acknowledgement, like a nod or something, I don't know. And you know, he's offloaded, he said what he wanted to say, and then he just walks off in a huff, and he goes off to a corner, like maybe 3 steps away from the counter, and then he stands there and looks at those people that he just shouted at and waited for a reaction or response. I would say that they were still in shock. So they were just standing there, and then the man who was standing, the one that I think is the manager, he's Malay, I think it's irrelevant his race. He was just standing there, he was shocked, and he made sure that this particular customer in front was taken care of. Maybe there was some computer issue, that's why he was there. And he just kind of like paused there for a minute and also kind of like, hey, chill, cool, kind of a look, processing. And then he went to the back room. I don't know whether to look into the escalator issue. My intuition told me that it is, because when the man was shouting, I think they were just kind of like shocked, and then they may have, you know, shook their head like they didn't know the escalator was not working. And then after he kind of got over the shock, processed it, you know, after the older man walked off, then maybe he went to the back room and looked into why the escalator was not working. And I guess I was just inspired to make this video because this is kind of what tends to happen with us. I know I'm making a generalization. We see things that we're not happy about in our lives, and sometimes it's not even about ourselves. Sometimes it's about public safety or the inconveniences of other people, and we feel like, like what I did, right? I didn't speak up. He raised the point, the escalator is not working. Are you aware? It's good that he did something about it, because I wanted to do something. I was wondering, but I didn't feel that I needed to do something. Okay, so the internet was, I don't know whether this video is still, yeah, so the internet was down. I think okay. So thanks to the 2 people who are still watching, I got back my wireless connection. So I was saying that this particular man was thinking, first a question whether somebody did something about it. Then he started to feel probably angry and inconvenienced and upset that he had to climb all these steps. And then finally, when he did say something, there was a lot of charge behind what he wanted to say, a lot of emotions, and it just came out in a very aggressive way. And yes, you want to speak up, you want to affect change, but you said it in a way that actually did hurt some people. And I'm not making any excuses for him, and I'm not making any excuses for myself, because there have been times in my life where things that I wanted to say didn't come out right, and the things that it took me a lot of energy and effort to say ended up hurting people that I care about. And for those people who are making an effort to speak up for themselves, for their lives, speak up for social injustice or public safety, it's admirable that you speak up. However, we're not kids anymore. We need to be conscious that what we say does have an impact, and the way you say something can hurt people. And so some people, they go into this other way of being so fearful of hurting people that they don't speak up. And I went through that myself in my life. So there was this kind of relationship between, if I speak up, because it takes me so much energy to feel strongly about something, to speak up, when I do speak up, I actually end up being so passionate and angry or aggressive about it that I end up hurting people. But if I don't speak up, I suffer, and I feel a lot of rage inside me, and I feel this stuckness of my energy. And so when I speak up, I'm not happy. When I don't speak up, actually, I'm not happy either. And for many years, that was me. This was before I was a coach. And I didn't know how to express myself in a healthy way. And this seems to be a kind of a challenge that a lot of people I know have, especially Asians. Maybe because we are not brought up with healthy models in our lives where people who speak out, who speak loudly and aggressively and bang tables, like, we just kind of, first of all, we're scared of these people. And then the next thing is, some people associate speaking up with passion. And so when you are passionate, that gives you an excuse to go on some kind of a rampage. But actually, you may end up hurting people and alienating people. So where do you go when you speak up and you fear hurting people, and then you don't speak up, and then the person who suffers in you, and the energy that you hold just becomes more and more contracted, and not only that, actually the frustration builds up in your body. So this doesn't work for anybody actually, because the world needs people who are healthy. The people needs people who can speak up for themselves, and speak up for other people too, for social injustice, for public safety. And so what do you do? What do you do? So this is my suggestion of what you could do, which is to try to speak up with small things in your life, things that you're not happy with. Just treat it as a little experiment, and not that thing that you need to speak up about. It doesn't have any major negative consequences. It's okay if you speak up. It's okay if you don't speak up. Nobody really cares anyway. It's maybe something that just affects you. For instance, you always put up with people who put, I don't know, like ketchup on your fries, and you hate that. And so you're like, you're the customer. Why are you always not speaking up and suffering? So finally, one day you decide to have a little experiment with yourself and say, can I have ketchup on the side? So when I was younger, I couldn't even say these things because I was afraid that it comes out the wrong way. Because I was afraid that people would reject me as being troublesome, or too bossy, or too demanding. And so there are people who have those difficulties. So start with small things. And when you do practice with small things, speaking up, being assertive without being angry, without being happy, without being anything, just like an adult. Speak up without getting all emotional. And you do a little, like, I don't know, what you call like a self-evaluation, reflection after you do speak out with small things. You speak up, and then you see, this is what happened. You can do like a little post-mortem. Okay, so this is what happened, and I survived it. I did well, and this person didn't care. So you can do a little post-mortem, and you really should. You should. I really strongly recommend that you pat yourself on the back. You pat yourself on the back for speaking up. So start practicing speaking up, asserting yourself without being aggressive, because when we speak up and we are aggressive, people may get into shock, and you leave something negative behind. And in my personal interactions with people, I try. I'm still learning how to be better online with strangers, because I feel contracted with like strangers approaching me and they didn't tell me who they are and all these things. But in my personal life, in my public social interactions, I try to notice if something is bothering me, to practice speaking up in an assertive way. No need to get all emotional, and see what happens. I noticed that the longer I wait, the more upset you can be. I attended this training maybe about a month ago, and everybody, there were like 50 people in the class, and it was so crowded. We were like in little chairs. So it was like a single chair in different rows. And the row that I was in, there was this guy in front of me who is friend with the guy in front of him. And they would periodically start talking. But the entire class is not talking. Everyone's listening to what's going on. I find it really annoying. And at first I was like, oh, it doesn't matter if they're talking. Do I really care what's happening? And finally I realized that I got more and more upset, because every time they talked, because they were directly in front of me, I couldn't hear, even though I really wanted to hear what the lecturer was saying. And so finally, I would say at the last presentation, after I just like so fed up with these two people talking, I was like, excuse me, can you please talk outside? Because there are people who actually want to listen. And immediately they shut up. Like, I didn't say it in an aggressive way, but I talked about what I wanted. I talked about what was happening. Can you please stop talking. There are actually people who want to listen. So I talked about what I was not happy with, and I talked about what they could do, and I talked about the why, all in one sentence. Excuse me, can you please take this outside? There are actually people who want to listen. The moment I just say, excuse me, can you please take this outside, they just they just clamped up. But I actually just added that sentence. There are actually people who want to listen, meaning they don't want to listen, they can't be bothered. Just go away. I need not have said the second sentence, but I was expressing my desire, which is that they were bothering me. But again, I was noticing that because I was waiting for so long to speak up, it was starting to bother me, so much so that there was some emotion, but I did try as much as possible not to be. And when I did speak up, I did an evaluation. I should have spoken up earlier because I sat through the whole thing. There were 5 presentations. At the last presentation, I spoke up. And when I did speak up, I gave myself a pat on the shoulders and said, well done. You did something for yourself today. Something for yourself or something for the people around you. So this is my suggestion of what you can do to speak up without hurting people. The first thing is practice with small things. When you can practice with small things, it does become easier over time. You do a practice, you speak up, you rehearse in your head what you're going to say. And then when you do say it, do a small little evaluation of how it went, how you could have improved. But regardless of how it goes, even if it goes badly, just be proud of yourself for speaking up, because that took courage. And know that if you speak up and you practice, over time, it can become easier for you to be assertive without being aggressive. And your intention with practicing is that over time, you will stop hurting people with being so emotionally charged about your words. So that's why I gave you the example of the man who went to the manager of the cinema and started shouting at him. They were in shock. So he was not getting exactly what he wanted, did he? He didn't get any acknowledgement. He didn't get them to run into action. I maybe they did. I wasn't sure. I think they did. But if he had just approached them calmly, I think he would have actually gotten better acknowledgement, and maybe he wouldn't have ruined their day, because for no reason they were shouted at. They didn't know better. They were busy. They were fighting. They were solving this computer issue. And it's easy for me to say that. Of course, there have been times in my life I haven't been perfect. But it takes small steps where you take ownership of your communication as an adult, and you stop behaviors that you know is not beneficial to you or to people around you. That you want to be a more conscious person. You want to live in a healthier way. So learning how to speak up, to assert yourself without getting all upset. When you get upset, people around you get upset, but you are also upset that you got yourself upset. And so it's really going to ruin your day if you have a bad episode. I know there are people who worry if I speak up and I get a bad response, I will have a bad day. It's a gamble. You don't know whether you will have a bad response. In fact, it will be just some people may appreciate you speaking up, the people around you. Some people may not realize what they are doing to other people. And so you are allowing them to be more aware of themselves. Yesterday I was on the bus and I had my earplugs in, and there were these 2 guys who were extremely loud. They were so loud, and one of them actually had his thigh on his chair, like some kind of a king. And the way he was sitting was just so disrespectful. And I didn't say anything, but I was really, really very affected by how loud it was. And so I I just tried to block the sound out by going into my phone and just like going through my, I just couldn't do anything. I actually wanted to read my book on the bus, but I couldn't. It was just so loud. So I was on my phone, and guess what? I didn't speak up. I was trying to distract myself, trying to drown the sound out. I was miserable, and I actually missed my stop. I missed my stop, and I had to take the cab to where I wanted to go. I was so miserable that I didn't even notice where the bus was going, and so I could have said something then. I could have said, "Excuse me, but do you mind toning it down a little bit? Like, I really like to enjoy my bus ride too, and I really like to read my book, and it's just too loud." I could have just been really gentle about it, because they looked like they were nice guys, but they were just very unconscious of the environment. And so if more of us just speak up, I always say this, it's not what you say, it's the way you say it. The way you say it will get the response. If you say it in a nice way, people will actually appreciate being told this in a nice way. And so yeah, this is my little video that I wanted to make about speaking up in a way so that you don't hurt people. The difference being asserting yourself, speaking up because you have human rights, because I also paid the bus fare. I could speak up, but the way you speak up could be better. And some people, from the way they speak, even though they're giving you feedback, but they say in such a wonderful way, in a nice way, that your heart just opens up more, and you appreciate that feedback so much that you actually like them more, and actually become better friends with them even. So there are ways in which you can speak up without hurting people, and not only that, even enhance the relationship and be closer to these people. So that's definitely something that I want to keep practicing so that I be better at it. I'm not saying that I'm good at it. I'm saying that I've learned that there's no point in not speaking up and being unhappy and then suffocating, or speaking up and letting things come out like it's a volcano, and the whole world around you shakes and everybody just quivers in fear. That's not what we want either. So yeah, so this is Martha from Eros Coaching, and if you like, post a comment below about your thoughts, and check out my workshops. That's at eroscoaching.com/events. So I've posted a lot of events for the next 3 months. So do check it out. And I know they're all in Singapore, but if you are from overseas and you want to engage with me, we could do Skype coaching, and I do have several online programs. So depending on who you are and what you're looking for, I can see how I can support you. And if I cannot support you, I'm happy to always refer you to somebody else. So just reach out and introduce yourself. And yeah, hope to hear from you. Bye.